Hello everyone, welcome to StudyIQ. Today we are going to discuss the difference between the success and failure. When I have to define the word failure here, so the failure person will come to you with excuses that why he or she failed. But on the contrary, on the very opposite side, a successful person will provide you the reasons of success, that why he or she got success, right? So it is a very thin line, right, between excuses and reasons. So here in this session, we are going to just eliminate or distinguish between the reasons and the reasons and the excuses. So here with me today, I have got SAKSHAM Bhatia. SAKSHAM, very warm welcome first of all.
Thank you so much. Thank you for having me here.
So it's our pleasure to have you here as well. So Saksham has scored rank 83 in his very third attempt of UPSC CSE 2024 batch. So as I stated, let's understand, let's uncover the reasons of Saksham's success in UPSC CSE. So Saksham, let's start with the very basic of the question. So means your third attempt, you got success, and what happened in the previous two, like the first and the second ones?
So, sir, my first attempt was in 2021, which I gave soon after my graduation ended. I was not at all ready giving that attempt, but since I was preparing for around 1 year, and like everyone around me knew, so my family members convinced me to give that attempt. Though I was not ready, but I was made to attempt that year. But it was not a forced type of thing, but they were usually having people have those expectations with you when you're preparing. You must be giving. So why to prepare if you're not attempting? So all those kinds of things made me appear that attempt, but I failed prelims in that attempt by around 8 marks, and I knew the mistakes because I was not completely prepared. That was the only mistake I made that year. 2022 year was to be my second attempt, but I skipped it. Again, I made that realization. I had filled that form, I was preparing for it, but I made that realization that I am still not prepared enough, and I had that fear that already I have failed one prelims, I'm going to fail one more, so I will be having that mental pressure on me. My I at that time I had already come to Delhi for my masters. Those were the months when I was just starting, so a new environment for me. I was taking some time to get along the things that were happening around me. So when I just called to my mother at my home explaining that I won't be giving, she was a bit disappointed. Other family members were also disappointed because the UPSC was the thing. I was sent to Delhi. Masters was just like considered as a secondary thing, though it was not for me, but it was considered. But I finally convinced them that I won't be attempting this year, and I started preparing for the 2023 attempt. I cleared prelims, gave mains, cleared mains also, gave the interview, but could not make into the final list that year. I missed the final cutoff by around 22 marks that year, and I was not ready to give 2024 attempt, seeing the thing that I have been into the cycle from last 3 4 years. I have been into preparation, giving exams, coming out, giving exams, and the similar process was ongoing. So it was basically creating a mental fatigue kind of thing for me, that I need a break for at least 1 year. I was into PhD at this time when my final results came for 2023 attempt. But I always am thankful to the people around me, especially my friends and my family members, that they somehow convinced me, brought that power back in my emotions and minds, that I can do it. I just need to go and appear for it. And with very less preparation this time, I went for prelims, somehow cleared it. But since I cleared prelims, I had to come again to the mains preparation, into that groove, and I started preparing. Of course, made sure that whatever mistakes I did in the last attempt won't be repeated. Whatever things that were left to be done in the 2023 mains should not be the reason of my not getting into the list this time. I made sure I have improved on these things, cleared the mains, and they gave the interview. It was very early this time, but still improved on it also, and finally made into the list with 83 rank. So this was a basic summary of what I have been doing since last 3 4 years.
That's quite perfect.
Yes.
So, Saksham, in that scenario, when you talk about that, you must have started preparation around by 2019 or 2020
Yeah, it
something.
was basically when I came into my full preparation phase. That was around the lockdown time,
Okay.
the first lockdown
The
that
first lockdown.
happened. Yes.
Okay. So means like the very general question, how you ever thought means like from where you got the motivation that you want to become this IAS or IFS one?
Okay.
It's like, what was that event
Yeah.
that made you come into this particular field? As majority of the time, I interact with the people, with the students, and sometimes they are, having not any background, and they're always having this question ki sir, it's too wide of the syllabus, and 20 plus subjects, one whole year of the examination cycle. Okay, so they lack a proper spark, a proper motivation, right? So what is that spark, what is that motivation that you had,
Okay.
that okay, I want to just do this?
So I am also going to disappoint people with my answer here that I had no spark in that way because I was a science student studying science in all my school time and even in my graduation. So had no even like a bit of knowledge with what the subjects are that are required in this subject to be prepared. So having no idea, I just came to know about this as a career in my class 10th or 11th, and soon after that I just shifted my mind from being an engineer to a civil servant, and like it came as a sudden thing to me. I started like seeing some YouTube videos on it, and that was the only thing that brought me into this. While later on, when I came to know more about the profession as overall, I realized that the experiences of my life has made me a person which can make me best suitable to what a person should be into the civil services, because I have been facing some or the other challenge since my childhood. My father passed away very early. My mother has been the only person who has raised me and my sister. So seeing all those struggles and the values that have been imbibed in us since childhood, I see civil service as a best profession where I can reflect those and give back to the society, so that some other person who would be in a similar situation as I would have been would not be facing such big issues in life. So that was the thing when I thought about the services, and which later motivated me to keep on preparing. So came as a sudden thing to me, but then later on I convinced myself, yes, this is the right thing. Whatever time it would be taking for me, it's okay. If at all I would not be entering into the services, some other thing would have been made for me. But yes, shifting from that sciences to humanities was just a reason that I would be getting a good platform to come and serve the people. So that was the only thing that motivated me.
Saksham, that's the most benevolent answer. Means like, let me be very honest. Okay, I have interacted with many of the aspirants, many of the successful candidates as well. But let me be very honest. This is the answer what you have given now, that you want to return something to the
Yes.
society, that the challenges that you faced, some other students, okay, in the same condition should not be facing those challenges. This is one of the most benevolent answer that I have ever heard from a person, the one who has just qualified.
Yeah.
These are the answers we tend to hear from those people, those who are already into the services, means like quite a good years of experience they have gained. And but this is really like hats
No,
off.
yeah,
Perfect.
thank you so much, sir. Nothing like that, but just an addition that this comes very naturally from me, because I think my luck has been bit of kind to me also, even after giving me so much situations that were not favoring me. But at the same time, I got so many people, so many like forces behind me that were always there to help me at some moment or the other. Let me give an example. Just when my father just passed away, soon after that my school made sure that I had to pay nothing for my education, and that was the best school of the city where I was studying. So that came as a basic requirement for me which I was needing at that time, but I was not even made to realize that something is being done good for me. That came as a natural thing, and I also used it very perfectly for me. Similarly for my sister, my mother was offered a job at the same school where I was studying. So like when something good is happening to you, you also need to make sure that you use it perfectly, and then also try to give back whenever possible. So when I visited school soon after my selection, it was such a great feeling that where I have been made as a person, built as a person, now I am standing here to guide others. So that comes very naturally from me, and I just want to make sure that whatever I'm saying, I stand up on my words and I'm able to do something for the people in upcoming times. That is the only thing that I'm thinking right now, and like God give me power for that, and I am not deflected from my path. That is the only thing I want right now.
Perfect. That's the most perfect thing again.
Yes.
Okay, so Saksham, this brings us to have another discussion here that, this phase of preparation from prelims to mains to interview,
Yes.
a whole cycle of 1 year.
Yes.
So how you have been managing yourself,
Yes.
consolidating all your energy, all your efforts, all your concentration just on some specific study material resources you have got to study, and how you have managed, to not get yourself, on the irritation side, and how you have managed yourself to be very consistent, as you were saying.
Yeah. So again, here no credits goes to me. Like I have been a person who gets who gets negative sometimes very easily, because seeing all the situations, I am not able to fight them on my own. That is my, I think that is one of the issues that I have. But getting so much emotional support from the people around me, especially my mother, my sister, and the other people whom I love in my family, plus some of my friends who were always standing. So I think that forces behind you make you do what you are doing right now. And some of my actions, of course, the motivation that I had to clear this examination was the big force, but that, I think that would be just 20% of what I have done. 80% comes from these people who have been standing behind me and have made sure that I don't get distracted easily, I don't get deflected from my path. So yes, a combination of my strength plus a lot of their strength had made me to stick to what I was doing. Let me tell in a bit detail that the difficulties that I was facing during my examination also. For example, when I was studying at my home for some time, when I was not in Delhi, I used to always face this problem that my environment around my home was not that apt. What studious student must be getting to prepare for the examination, like a lot of problems happening around my home, not a peaceful environment to study. So I used to get frustrated very oftenly with that I used to tell my mother that I won't be studying from now, this is not the place I am requiring for get my studies done. But when she told me that from where we are coming to where we are living, that's a basic improvement only in our life. You don't get like toned off from the all these things very easily. Just keep your mind calm and keep studying and all. And then I basically gradually made this decision that I should be going to Delhi. So I think these all these things that happen around me very naturally, I this was not at all my decision to leave my sciences stream and enter into the humanities stream. One of my teachers in my maths department at my college just made it happen somehow. He I don't know how he convinced me, because I had this plans that I would be continuing my education further in sciences. And if I would have done that, because I am a very academic person also, I went on to become a gold medalist also in my graduation. So I had my thing into education thing also. But if that teacher would not have advised me to leave sciences and enter into humanities, I wouldn't be sitting here with you, because I could not get then time for the civil services. That was the 3 years time in my graduation which I spent only on my BSc preparation. So some time for civil services preparation, but maximum for that. But somehow he came, he molded my mind into the thing that go on to do humanities, go to JNU, you would be developing your personality as well. There is nothing kept here in a small college. So that came very naturally, and I just went on to move on that path. So that's why I'm saying that very less things have been done from my side, and people around me have made sure that I do the right things always. So credit some to me, but a lot to them.
That's so sweet, really so
Yes,
sweet.
yes.
So, this is what the very famous lines they have been always, that once you make a decision, this universe conspires to make it happen. Right. So,
Very
with
apt.
your story, I can just correlate with this thing
Yes,
only. So, it means like, it's just what we must learn from Saksham's story is that we need to just represent our honesty in whatever we are approaching, in whatever I am, wishing for myself. So I
yes.
just need an honest, dedicated element within me, and the rest things will come to me but for sure by
Yeah,
default.
yeah,
Yeah.
yes.
Okay, so Saksham, let's go on to the strategy part here,
Sure,
right?
sure.
what means like all the three stages.
Yes.
What was your proper strategy for prelims, for mains, and specifically for the final one, for which majority of the students, they do have this fear, that is interview board.
Yes.
So what has been your proper strategy for prelims? First of all, let's
Yes.
talk about.
So, talking about the prelims, I think 2021 attempt, I won't be counting it as a correct prelim strategy to be told to people. When I gave my first serious prelims in 2023, I made sure that I complete most of my syllabus first of all. So, not I'm saying most of, because I would not, I hadn't completed all my syllabus even in the 2024 attempt. If I would have been giving more, then also it would not have get completed. So people need to believe this thing, that not 100%, but at least people, the bare minimum that people are doing, you should be above than that. So very realistic thing to be told to people, that at no time preparation is going to get completed. Even today I am not comfortable in subjects like ancient, medieval, art and culture. I have never completed them, and I think in the future attempts also I won't have done them. Like, I completed my basic subjects, I made my notes, I ensured that I have done enough revisions, plus some of the mock test and PYQs. So all these are very basic things that everyone knows, but people do not follow it properly, and that becomes the major reason why we are not able to perform very aptly in the prelims thing. So you need to first of all complete rounds of syllabus. When I'm saying that you need to complete it, you need to read it properly several times, then only come on to the note making part. And having our own notes is very important, is the thing I have realized in all these 2 or 3 attempts that I have given. So completely relying on any coaching notes is of course a way to clear the examination, but I don't think that many people can be doing that, because it becomes so bulky first of all. Secondly, when you are not able to make your own notes, you will not be able to revise it properly before the examination. So I make sure that I've read several subjects several times, made their notes, done the revisions, done the PYQ analysis. When I'm talking about PYQ analysis, you should be referring to each and every option for the prelims question, at least for the questions from 2011. If you can go much before also, that's good part, but if you can't, at least from 2011. So you analyze the questions properly, Google the options. If you're getting some facts, add it on your notes. So this is the way analyzing should be done. And then some basic number of mocks. I am not the person, even in 2023 attempt I did not go on to do 30-35 mocks or regularly doing it every month. I just did some mocks in the last phase of my prelims preparation. Around 20 to 15 would have been the number, and I went on to give the prelims. So, and also the CSAT part. So CSAT part becomes a problem for many people. I had my maths background, but still I faced a lot of issues in the 2023 CSAT. Everyone did, because that was the level of the examination that time. But still, I always recommend people that you must be having that reverse preparation strategy in CSAT. Pick up a paper, PYQ, like a 2022 paper, suppose, go on solving it, identify the areas in which you are not comfortable. For example, it may be numerical ability or any of the areas. Then just go to some YouTube video, study it, and then again come on to solve the PYQs. I am not a person who would tell you that, okay, take this course and prepare your CSAT, because that all is not required in the CSAT thing. You just do this reverse thing, that's easier to do, and secondly, more I think more output based also. So I would recommend people doing this for CSAT, and then like this completes the prelims thing: note making, studying, revising, mock analysis, PYQ analysis, and then the CSAT. So this was my 2023 prelim strategy. In 2024, I've already told you that I was very less prepared. I just did revisions for some basic things for 20 days only, gave only 2 mocks this time, and went on to give the
Only 2
prelims.
mocks.
Yes, and that is the time I had, and that also not the way I prepared in 2023. So I oftenly mention this thing, that if I would have been a person how I was in my 2023 attempt, I would have got a even better rank this time. Okay. Because the level of discipline that I had in the 2023 attempt was of some another level. Even I think sometime about that person was completely different. However, I am securing a rank in this attempt, but that level of discipline was different in my 2023 attempt. This time, because of a lot of distractions, the negative thoughts that I was getting because of a failure, but somehow I still managed it. That's because the preparation that you have been doing all over the years gets compounded. A friend of mine always says this thing when I say to him that I was not at all serious in this my attempt, but he made sure that I can come to believe this thing, that this is not just what I have been doing in this attempt, but the all over years, the last 3-4 years, and that has compounded for me in this attempt, bringing me to this rank. So in 2024 attempt, I would not be mentioning my prelim strategy because of the same reason. 2023, these were the things I have done, and that made me clear prelims in 2023 also. So shall I come to mains now?
Yeah, that's really awesome.
Yeah.
So, in summary, what I can understand, kindly correct me if I miss out
Yes.
something. Basically, you have been reading a lot of the material.
Yes.
Means like not different
No,
material,
no.
just some limited material,
Yes.
but thorough reading
Yes. Several
and a
times.
very several times of
Yes,
reading
yes,
you have
yes.
been giving. And apart from that, coming to the practice zone, okay,
Yeah.
that you have been following specifically the PYQs, right? Specifically 10 years, okay, like from 2011 to 21,
Yes,
almost
yes,
you have
yes.
been doing that. That provided you much level of basic understanding how to tackle the questions and how to carve out the proper solutions, that is the correct answers. And specifically, if in just one line, if you have to answer one or two lines basically to our viewers, that how much role these mocks, the test series, they do play in an aspirant's life, as in like you stated that just two mocks you gave in
Yes, yes,
the
yes.
24 attempt and some couple of 10 or 15 mocks in 23 attempt. So how much weightage these mocks they do have?
I think when I'll compare it to what weightage PYQs holds, I would give it 80-20 ratio. 20 would be for the mocks, 80 goes for the PYQs. That's the only reason behind it is that mocks can't never match the level of what UPSC asks. Mocks just try to mock what UPSC has done in the previous attempts, and UPSC can change any time, any year, the way it is asking or the questions levels it is asking. For example, we have been consistently seeing the changes in 2022, 23, and then 24 and 25 also. So some basic changes have always been there, and what like after 2025 paper, coachings would move on to the pattern what UPSC has followed in 2025 and then be forming their mocks. So it's basically there to make you practice the way UPSC does the things, but no one can match that level. So mocks hold the importance of only letting you test your knowledge of what you have been studying, and secondly try to simulate the environment that you would be getting in the real examination. That is the only role of mocks, not nothing to be gained about gaining knowledge and all. It can be just one or two facts in a paper. You can't be relying your preparation on the mocks or the knowledge getting from it. You need to study, just practice it and analyze your preparation through the mocks. That is the only thing that we should be giving to the mocks, specifically in the prelims phase.
Okay, so means keep it limited.
Yes.
And keep it the quality one as well, and specifically focus on the PYQs. This is what we have got. We have got the answer. Okay, so Saksham, let's move to the next big part, that is the mains examination. So often this is the biggest trouble to each and every aspirant, that our means like, is my technique that I'm following towards answer writing,
Yes.
or whatever I have written is concrete enough, it's fine enough. So how you have managed this?
So I think I was not able to properly analyze myself in my 2023 attempt, and the failure or of that year made me realize my mistakes only. So that failure came as a boon to me in that form that I made those learnings. Those learnings basically were specifically talking about the answer writing part, that I need to make sure that I am writing very relevant to what the question is asking. We very oftenly do this thing that we tend on to write anything that we know and not what it is being asked. So going here and there won't help. You need to be very specific to what is being asked. I did the changes in 2024 attempt, and that made me do an increase of 57 marks only in my main score. So that's a fair enough increase because of the things that I have improved on. First one is that writing relevant to what is being asked. Second is increasing quantity of my points. In my 2023 answers, I just went on to write 5-6 points for my 10 marker question, went on to explain some things, and then end it normally. In 2024 mains, what I did is I increased it to 8 or 9 points. Write very relevant examples in it, no explanation, because those points become self-explanatory when you add an example. then innovate something in the intros and conclusions, and also adding a way forward even when it is not asked. So I think that gives a sense of completion to your answers when you add these way forward kind of things, because what you are saying gets completed through the things, not just with conclusion but also adding a way forward. For example, some committee examples or Niti Aayog recommendations that have been made, you can just add it as a way forward to your answer, and that gives a sense of completion. So these are the changes. I soon after giving my GS1 paper this time, I realized that I have left one question in my paper, and in 2023 attempt I left no question. So this thing came in my mind whether I am degrading this year or not, because I am leaving questions this time. But after completing my mains this year, I and getting the score known specifically after the mark sheets came, I realized this thing, that not completing paper is not a big issue, but writing very relevant things to where you are writing is very important. So I, even when I could not write of the answers of around 20 to 25 marks, that was the amount that I left this year because of less time that was available to me, I got an increase of 57 marks. The reason was I was writing relevant things in the answers I know, and also improving on the quality part. So that made me realize this thing, that not only completing paper with less relevant things is not that important, but even after not completing the paper but writing relevant things is very very important, and that made me increase the things also. Thirdly, I would make an important point for optional paper is, specifically I have my PSR optional, that in the optional answers you need to show your analysis. That's very very important, not just writing to what has been told by any scholar or a philosophy, but giving your analysis on it and then validating it with what scholar has said. That's the demand of an optional paper. I realized it. I didn't go this way in my 2023 attempt, but I improved on this in my 2024 attempt, that I give my arguments and validate it with what scholar has said in the similar lines much before. They are important because they are scholars, they are thinkers, but it is also important to give our own analysis. That is the purpose of what the question is being asked to you, why the question is being asked to you. So you need to give your own analysis, then substantiate it with what the scholar has said. So another important change that I made this year, these were the important things that I went on to do, and then my final score improved with this. Fourthly, coming on to the aspect of answer writing, I think that's very very important. I could not follow a perfect schedule in both of my attempts, again telling very honestly, because sometimes while you are preparing for mains preparation, mains phase, that becomes so much overwhelming and so many things to do in those 3-4 months. So I recommend always people that make sure you are mains ready even before starting for the prelims preparation in the month of January. The months of June to December must be dedicated only for the mains preparation, with some time of course being given to the prelims as well. You need to make sure that you are done with the content, note making, answer writing of PYQs. No test series required at this phase, because if you will go on to do a test series, you will be neglecting the PYQs. That's what I did, and that's a learning from my side. That's why I'm telling it very honestly here. In these months you need to make sure that you are done with the content, done with the note making, revisions, and doing the PYQs. Writing PYQs and analyzing PYQs is very very easy. People usually ask that how to go on to analyze the PYQs. So it's very easy task. You take a PYQ, write what you would be writing, and then just Google it. Many coachings would be providing the model answers to it. Just do a basic comparison and you will be okay. That is the only evaluation we need to do with it, because all coachings make sure that they provide the best answer. So even if something is not good, you can go to the other side and get your answer evaluated. Now to AI also does that thing well. You can also be using AI. This is the way I went on to the brainstorming in my 2024 attempt, again not having the time to write every answer. So if you are done with these things till the month of December, you are in a very comfortable situation. And when you will be coming on to the mains only time between prelims and mains, then give your time to the mocks. Here comes the importance of mocks, the ideal time where mocks should be given, because you need to improve on your speed thing this time. So I wrote again very minimal in both the attempts. In 2023, I wrote more, around 20 to 25 tests, including optional GS and all. This time it was only 15 only, because I was more focused on doing the value additions part. Value additions is also an important aspect that made me improve this time. So this was the crux, basically, I'm telling of what I didn't go on to do in my 23 attempt, and what I did, what I changed in my 2024 attempt, and that basically brought the difference that I have experienced in both my mains marks.
Okay.
Yes.
Fine. So, Saksham, means like what made you opt for PSIR?
Yes.
Means like from coming from a different academic background,
Yes.
PSIR was nowhere into the list,
Yeah.
right? So how this sudden change means like what made you go for
So
it?
again, a guided change from the same teacher that I was telling you about, who made me know about JNU and all. Basically, before that, I was studying geography optional. I had already given around 6 to 8 months into it, but I was told that it could be problematic for me, seeing it was a too technical subject and very static kind of subject, while PSR, it's dynamic, it's interesting to read. So I just went on to follow that advice and ordered some notes to get groove of the subject. I started reading it, I found it interesting, and that's the reason that made me to shift to this subject, because international relations, politics is what I find very interesting. Then I also changed my, so it was a guided thing, but I followed it very diligently, that now I won't be changing my subject. This is the thing where with whom I would be doing my UPSC journey in the upcoming years. So that was the only decision that made me change. Further, when I was doing my masters, my further interest grew into the subject. I also continued with my PhD thing. I took admission into the same international relations stream. So a thing that came as a advice to me, and then I followed it on my own. So that's the reason how I shifted.
So ultimately, consistency is the key, right?
Yes.
Okay, so stick to one thing and just be very much assured that yes, this is going to be your thing only.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So, Saksham, how much was the score difference between your first mains of 2023 and 2024 right now?
Yeah. So in 23, when I cleared my mains, it was 730, 24 marks above the cutoff that I required, and this time it is 787, so an increase of 57 marks and much higher than what the cutoff was. It was around 730, so that was the difference in my marks, around 57 marks. Major increase came in my GS. It went on to increase from 386 to 421, and the rest 17 marks in my optional and 5 marks in my essay. So an increase everywhere. Even in my interview I faced an increase only. So this is an interesting thing in my mark sheet, that nowhere I have faced a reduction in my marks. In every question, in every paper, in every area I have faced, I got an increase only.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine. That's
Yes,
very fantastic thing.
yes.
So means like your first mains.
Yes.
What was your score in essay paper?
It was 98.
98 out of 250.
Yes.
And the optional paper
246.
246, and the second one 103,
Yes.
and optional one
263.
263. So a good substantial level of
Yes.
enhancement it is. And which paper you personally you found that no, this is bit not in my radar, means there are subjects where we are very comfortable and there are subjects where we are not that comfortable.
Yes.
So like paper 1, 2, 3, 4, including essay and so on. So which was the one paper that irritated you a bit?
I think there are two, GS 1 and 3.
Okay.
The major reasons being, it has a lot of subjects. First of all, ethics is the beauty of this examination. I always find it very interesting because very limited syllabus and no divisions into this topic. For example, in GS3 we have to study so many topics: economy also, agriculture also, security. In ethics, only ethics, and the topics that we have, and the case study, again a very beautiful part. So most comfortable one was ethics. Then came GS2 because of my PSR optional. I got interested into it. But GS1 and 3 are and that's the area where usually people get low marks also. So GS1 because of art and culture thing, GS3 because of too many subjects. But again, GS3 is manageable, but I think the worst I face is GS1 only.
So how you have managed yourself, means like how you convinced yourself to read art and culture and the economic segment as well of paper 3.
So
how you
very
have managed
very
yourself?
shortcut based approach for art and culture. I just took out some toppers notes every time, changing it every time. Though I had made my notes also, but those were so extensive that I was not interested reading it every time. Some topics like temple architecture and all, I had good notes prepared, but the rest topics, for example this paintings and all, I used to just cover it from some of the available topper notes or the PYQs. That was the only thing I did in art and culture, and then I went on to the paper in both my mains on the luck basis that oh god, don't get any question that I don't know in the art and culture section. And I think that happened also this time. I left a question in GS1, as I was telling you, that was around the Pallav architecture only. I think I later realized that I could write that answer based on the temple architecture knowledge I had, but I left it for the last, and then I could not come back there. So the only question I left this time was on art and culture only. So in 2024 mains. And again, for the economy part, I think that was a comfortable part only for me. The only uncomfortable thing was that there were too many subjects in this GS3. I completed every subject. Specifically for GS3, security is a good thing to be read. Agriculture also, I had my notes prepared for everything, but the only problem that I'm telling you is that there are so many subjects to be covered under this, while in GS2 only polity, IR and governance, social justice and ethics though is only one subject only. So GS3 only uncomfortable thing is that there are so many things, but I somehow managed it. GS1 is because of my lack of interest in it. Yes.
So Saksham, tell me, can I just quote it this way?
Yes.
That if there is a weak zone, you think that, this is something which is out of my radar, so it's better to skip that part for a while and focus on your strength. Means like don't skip it totally, obviously it's not possible. Means like have a general understanding of that subject, and if you think it's the weaker part, okay, then don't try to indulge yourself more into that, and just utilize that time and energy into the one which is already in your radar. So that
I would just recommend that do the bare minimum that is required into it, and just put some extra efforts in the comfortable area you have. I think I did it for GS2 and GS4, and that's why those are the comfortable scores that even I got. I 116 in GS2, 120 in GS4, and that's the reason because even after getting in scores in 90s in GS1 and 3, but compensation could have been done possible from GS2 and GS4. So even if you are not comfortable in any specific subject, do the bare minimum. I did the same for ancient medieval even in prelims times also, just going through some facts. If now question is not going to be solved from my side, then I am not going to take tension of it. Focus on the areas like polity, economy, science, tech, environment, where I am comfortable enough. So similar can be done, but it is usually suggested. Now leaving any subject is not a suggested thing. For example, in this year attempt, world history came around like 2-3 questions. Good so, and again, a not very comfortable thing that I find myself. I usually have done it from I think 2-3 toppers notes, Shreyas Kumar sir, very famous notes that we have got. So no very good understanding of it. But I remember that while I was going to my center, the only notes I was revising was world history only, and that World War question that came, I just revised it soon before going into the center, and I was able to write it. So this is a luck based thing, but I made sure that I did that bare minimum thing. So you must be doing that things, because going blank specifically for a question in a phase like mains is not a good thing. You at least should be having some things to write, because people are having that level of preparation that of course they can beat you at that place where you don't know anything. So try to know something so that at least you can write some things over there, but on that cost, don't leave doing the things that you are most comfortable with. So a balance of it, but also focusing a bit bare minimum into the areas where you're not comfortable.
So simply quoting, need not be specialist,
yes,
but yes, at least be generalist in each and every subject. And the subjects which you are facing difficulty or you think it's out of your interest, so do the bare minimum thing, okay, and utilize the energy, utilize the leftover time into the strengthened part of yours. Okay, Saksham. So that will be a really wonderful insights for our students. So coming to the final stages here, that is the interview round.
Yes.
So what was your experience in the first interview and the second interview? And before that, to my curiosity, first of all, I would like to ask this question, that the day of interview and a day before, specifically the night before, how you were, means like how were you able to sleep? Were you able to collect yourself? Were you so nervous, or what was the level of confidence you were having? Specifically a night before. Let's start with a night before.
Yes. So a night before, of course, is very like a night where you are thinking very much, and it happens every time, even during the prelims also, mains also, and specifically for interview, because this is the time you are going to present yourself live in front of the people. Not in the case of prelims and mains, you are going to be evaluated after you have already given your ideas into the mains paper. So in, of course, all these things run in our mind, but in both my interviews this thing happened. I had a bit of panic just before entering the UPSC Bhavan, but once I enter it, I lose everything of it, and I am quite comfortable in handling those situations, though all those things can't be removed from our mind. But even like, I had this memory that when I was made to sit for around 20 minutes just outside the chamber of the respected chairperson, I was very chilled at that time, like very chill. I was just singing some songs in my mind and all and all. I was just trying to keep myself distracted, and soon after you'll be entering the hall, you won't be even remembering your panic and all.
So we're following that Virender Sehwag technique.
Yeah. So like very comfortable while I was into the hall, but of course those anxiety, those panic are very common, and that happened with me also a day before the interview. And specifically talking about the interview journey phase, I think this is the most interesting phase. Every person getting into this journey must at least get an experience of it at least once, because I feel this is the most beautiful phase of the whole journey. It is where you work on yourself, you get to know yourself very well in this specific time, because in both the rest of phases of prelims and mains, you are just into the books reading what is being told, but here you work on yourself to tell the things of whom you are to the people where you will be presenting yourself. So in that way, this is the most beautiful phase of the examination.
So what were the types of questions that were asked to you in your first interview?
Yes.
So I heard you had the very same board.
Yes. Chairperson was same only.
Chairperson was same.
It was Mr. Shilvardhan Singh, both the times. So in my 2023 attempt, where I was having my interview in the last week of the interview phase, 2nd of April 2024. Now this was the time, just telling very in a summarized way how I went on to do my preparation and what were the differences I made in the next attempt. So this was the phase, because it was the first experience of course getting into the interview phase, so very much excited. And at the same time, I had already joined my PhD in January 2024. So like, what I went on to do in my in the interview phase is that I prepared my basic notes. I used to go every week to Karol Bagh, go and attempt 2-3 mocks and come back. So this was the only way of preparing I went on to do for my 2024. So around 30 mocks I would have given in my 2024 2023 attempt interview, because a lot of time, and I had this thing that why not to use a day properly if I'm going to Karol Bagh from so far away. So the problem I faced was that in this process I lost myself, because too many comments coming on my personality, and in that way I lost myself. I was becoming too much mechanical. I getting this feedback that you should sit and talk to people in this position. So that makes you very technical, mechanical.
Is it true? Like you have to sit like
no,
this?
No. I did this in my 2023 attempt. That's what I am saying, and I didn't go on to do this in my 2024 attempt. Like the way I'm talking to you, I went on to talk in this manner.
That's nice.
In a bit formal way, of course, not so much informal, but yes, that's the changes that I'm telling. So I lost myself. I had the imposed views on me that you should be answering this question in this way, you should not be going too radical, or so things that I got as a feedback in my 2023 mocks experiences. But still my interview experience was good only. I got 171 in that attempt, though I realized this thing that it was not a very good experience, but I got 171 and I was quite satisfied with my score. Some of the uncomfortable areas of course are always put on you while you are giving an interview. The chairperson, Mr. Shilvardhan Singh especially, is a very whatever I could analyze in my 2 interviews, is he's a very philosophy loving person, and he always asks some questions from philosophy. He's very interested to sometimes intervene also in some others members' questions and then start some questions from there also. So this happened in both the attempts. But in 2023 attempt, what I realized is I've overfilled my DAF. Some of the areas were not even touched. So this was also a learning that I made, and I reduced many things and made sure that the things where I am most comfortable, where people should be talking about me, I filled only those things. So again, a major learning that I realized. So this was the basic experience from 2023 attempt, 4 months of preparation, getting 171 out of it. Coming to 2024, 22nd December, the dates came for interview, and I had my interview already scheduled for 8th of January. So only 15-16 days that I had to in my hands for the preparation
Quite
phase.
unfair.
Yes, quite unfair. But this was the realization only till I went on to give my interview. Just after I came out of my interview experience this time, I realized this thing, that this is the best thing happened to me, getting an interview so early. And I think it's best when I've given it. I've also improved and scored, though not a fixed thing, not it's not going to happen with everyone, but it worked for me. So telling you how I went on to prepare this time, the only changes I made in my DAF, I went on to prepare notes for it. I delegated things to my friends that I want notes on it, because I had no time. I again, with God's grace, I've got some good friends. They did the basic research, gave the material, and the only preparation I did was I did discussions every day with two of my PhD mates. I used to discuss. If they are used to ask me questions, I used to answer them, and this was the only preparation that I did for 14-15 days just before going to appear in my interview. Only 2 mocks given this time, no technical things to be followed. This was the decision I made, and with the people who gave me guidance this time, I was very a bit organic this time in my interview experience, with the same chairperson, of course, Sheelvardhan Singh sir. Like, whole environment got changed from getting my interview into the last phase to the second day of the interview, so that was also a change. Then getting interview on the second position in my first attempt, like the second number to go, and this was in this time I was the last one to go in my whole 6 people. So again, anxiety would have increased, but I made sure that I was sitting very calm, even having number in the last. This is the usual things that are said, that they lose their interest coming to the last, or it's before, just time before the lunch, they're eager to go to their lunch. I don't personally feel so. They were very much interested to talk to me.
So it's all bogus.
Yes, no, nothing at all. And I specifically mentioned this experience in every time where I am asked about my interview experience. So this time it happened that one of the member was talking to me. The respected chairperson stood from his chair, went on to the table which is placed back, pouring some coffee, and at that time also he was looking to me, and a moment of eye contact of mine happened with me when he was pouring the coffee. So I was so personally delighted with that experience, that the person is looking to me even when he is doing some other work, and not like at the table at that moment, but he was connected with me at that moment also. And so the basic changes, doing some hand movements, having a smile on your face, going very naturally, and it, like, how the time went this time, it was not even made me realize that 28-29 minutes it happened the same time, same also in the last attempt, but this was very natural. And I personally loved this experience, and I was so, like, I had that smile when I exited the UPSC Bhavan, and my friends were waiting, my mother was waiting, and one of my friends, seeing my face, said that इसका इस बार तो हो जाएगा. So that was the I think the even when I didn't just tell कि मेरा experience कैसा रहा, उन्होंने they analyzed that thing. So I think it comes on our face how the experience has gone, and I also got an increase of 30 marks from the same chairperson, 171 to 201. So the crux of my interview is that you need to be my interview preparation is that you need to be very natural. You need to be very straightforward to what is being asked. Be very humble to the people जो वहाँ पे बैठे हैं, because they have a lot of experience, but you need to be equally firm on your point if you feel that you are correct. So this happened to me in both the interviews. Some of the member was trying to convince me on a wrong point, which I personally felt was not okay.
Okay, a type of a trap.
Yes. For example, let me give an example. This time I was asked whether India's involvement into the liberation war of Bangladesh was correct or not. I said, sir, it was correct. It was the need of the hour. So he said, no, it was not at all correct. What has India gained even from it? I went on to tell 3-4 things. He said, no, that's not a right point you are making. China also criticizes us for interfering in some countries. So till 3-4 rounds of questions, I had the similar point of view, and then it ended. with my views only. So if you are feeling that you are correct with that point and they are just trying to test you with that, just very humbly answer your question every time and present your view. So sir, I beg to differ on this, yeah, jo bhi tarika hai, you need to make sure that you are firm on your points. While on the other hand, where you are getting some extra point from the respected person or the member of the board, just thank them very in a gratitude way, that thank you sir, your knowledge has delighted me or so. And that happened again in both the interviews. I thanked the person. I also like was very in a gratitude way that this is of course a better way to answer this question. So you need to be a mix of personality over there. Don't be too much rigid on yourself, but also be firm on what if you are saying correct. So a mix of that again.
So basically, if I say that if I'm having a differing opinion, so
Yes.
generally accepted norms they are
Yes.
okay to aspirants, that even you think you are right, but the board members or one of the member is saying that no, you are not right on this point. So you will just have to accept that, oh really sorry sir, now I understood, yes I was wrong, and I just have to flatten them and butter them.
Yes.
How much is this thing right?
I would say nothing kind of flattering or buttering. You need to be very practical in your answers. Of course, they are the persons whom on the hands or the pens of whom your career depends. So of course you need to be very humble over there. But they are just there to test your personality. You need to be honest also, but also have those balanced opinions. You can't be radical over there, either shifting onto one side or another. Very practical solutions needs to be given for what they are asking. No kind of flattering or buttering, but of course जैसे मैंने कहा कि you need to be firm and flexible at the both at the in your answers at मतलब at the same time. If you feel that you are going correct, just stand with it. The chairperson would be convinced with your thoughts also, because they also know that they are putting you in an uncomfortable position just to test your personality. So that is just a test of the whole process. If you come on to fall into that trap, of course you'll be facing the consequences. On the other hand, you also need to be very flexible also. If something good is being told to you, you need to accept your mistake and move forward to the next question, so that you are not again trapped into that situation.
So basically I have to be very balanced.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. So Saksham, to my final question here, what was the thing that made you have this giant jump or this giant leap from 171 marks to 201 marks, accurately 30 marks?
Yes.
It's a very, very, very
Yes,
big
yes,
difference.
yes.
So what do you think has helped you in having this giant leap of 30 marks in the first interview and the second interview?
So yes, until and unless scores came, I was not expecting such a big leap. Of course, the experience was better than the previous year, but yes, getting a increase of 30 marks from the same chairperson who had already assessed your personality last year was a very positive thing.
Was he aware with you that yes, you were the candidate last
He
year also?
he
I
might
had?
be, but I was not able, like I was not made to realize that thing
Okay.
from his end also, that we have talked last year also or so. No conversation about that, and it is again a trait of sir, that he directly starts from the first question itself, no introduction or so. Okay, Saksham said we'll be starting with your interview. So that is the basic way he goes on to say, and this also happened this time also. So I was not made to realize that we have met the last time, and nothing of that kind. But the changes that I have mentioned, what I did in my way to answer the things, first of all, that I was very like in a flow manner. I was going, I was trying to speak relevant for, and again the thing that I went on to do the changes with my DAF, that was the second difference. I wrote very very relevant things that I was interested to talk to the people, and most of the things were touched this time. Thirdly, my addition of doing the PhD this time, and PhD coming to overall discussion was also a good thing for me only. We discussed around international relations a lot, the topic of mine, that was also discussed. Fourthly, again, not having very mechanical or technical this posture and all, I was having eye movements with the member simultaneously. If when I'm talking to you, I'll be also looking over there in between, and also having a little bit of hand movements, sitting very comfortably, having a calm smile on your mind. These were the only changes that I made, not going in a very technical way that I did in my 2023 interview.
Okay. So ultimately be natural,
Yes,
right?
be
Don't try
yourself.
to be an imposter, don't
No,
try to
no,
go much into the
no,
mechanics,
no.
right? Okay, so be natural as much as you can,
Yes.
right?
So
Okay.
just an addition, I would say that we should be appearing for some mocks as we do in our prelims and mains
Mhm.
phase, but keep it to bare minimum. If you if you, even if you have your interview in the last phase, just keep it around 5 to 6, and to make sure that you are comfortable to talking to someone. That should be the only purpose of
Mhm.
mocks. Don't get too much like too much into the things that are being told to you. Don't try to change yourself in a 360-degree manner, that I am not doing these things currently and correctly, and someone told me to change this, and that's why I'm making the change. I think the best way to go on is having your natural personality, but of course with the features that a future officer must be having, that a future bureaucrat must be having. So you need to have those qualities while you're speaking, but be yourself. So the only purpose of mocks is to make you realize that you are able to speak or not.
So basically, I will have to take inputs, I will have to take insights,
Yes.
right? Then ultimately, I don't have to be very casual. I
Yes.
have to be formal, I have to be humble,
Yes.
and ultimately, I have to be myself,
Yes.
right? My, me, myself, I, me, myself thing. I'll
Yes.
have to carry with me. And ultimately, I don't be, I shouldn't be having any artificial traits in myself.
No.
Okay?
No.
Means I have to represent my natural side, not very radical, not very rightist, not very leftist. I have
Yes.
to be a centrist
Yes.
personality.
Yes.
And yes, even if I'm having a differing opinion, I should be humbling, very humbly,
Yes.
I should be answering that, sir, I beg to differ, or,
Yes.
in my opinion, I think,
Bilkul.
this is what I
Right.
have been having this information and something like that. Okay, so Saksham, that's a very wonderful information and knowledge that you have shared with us, and I hope our dear viewers and the aspirants, the future officers, what we must say, they will have got the ultimate level of insights, knowledge, and information. And it's really, Saksham, at the end, it's really a very wonderful experience for me, okay, to have these questions with you, because these were the answers that you have given in a very generic way, in a very genuine way as well, in the most organic way. And I really loved the way you have represented each and every facts in a very clear manner. And really, I wish that you be one of those officers of the country, those who are always there into the light, not for the bad reasons, obviously, always there into the light for the good actions. As when we started this podcast into the beginning, okay,
Yes.
so you stated that you have to return to the society what society has given to
Yes.
you. So
Yes.
society has given you the good things, and I wish that you be the very strong pillar of the society and enlighten most of us into the near future. So Saksham,
Thank
really
you,
thank you
sir.
so much.
It was a great experience for me to come here and talk to you, and specifically thankful to the platform to coming and letting me to speak to the so many aspirants at the same time. And the only purpose that I speak so honestly about my experiences is that people should realize this thing, whoever is coming into the preparation, that it is very much possible even after having so many inconsistencies or breaks or failures or difficulties. It still is possible, but you need to make sure that you are doing the bare minimum every time. You put your efforts into the right path or the right direction every time. That is the only thing we need, irrespective of the all failures or difficulties we are facing. So it's very much practical thing to be told, and it is the way how we should be proceeding even after having so many difficulties in our journey. So that's why I'm always so honest with my experiences, that people should not have that thing in their mind that they need to proceed in a very ideal manner. So the only purpose that I follow every time.
That's really awesome,
Yes.
Saksham. So, guys, the only thing that I have here to conclude is the thing that we started, that the failures, they will provide you the excuses. And in last 1 hour approx, you have learned about the reasons of success, right? So don't be the person who is going to tell the people the excuses. No, the excuses, they are nowhere relevant. Okay, you have heard end number of reasons in last 1 hour, okay, from Saksham, who has scored once again rank 83, who failed in the final last step, into the interview step as well. Okay, and this is what the concept is, farsh se arsh tak, and then once again arsh se farsh tak, right? So you have to start from once again zero, right? And this needs a good amount of consistency, a good amount of discipline, and a good amount of motivation as well. So don't be afraid of failures. Okay, Saksham is the best example for all of you guys. Just stick on to your target, and yes, lastly, once you make a decision, this universe conspires to make it happen. Okay guys, thank you so much. See you soon. Bye bye. Good day. Take care.